What is up, beautiful people? Evan Alex James here, and today we're playing a new game. This is 60 Seconds Reatomized. I've never played 60 Seconds. I've seen people play it, but I have never played it myself. So, I may or may not have gotten it on a Black Friday sale, so here we are. I know the basic concept of the game, but I've never actually played it, so I'm kind of just ready to jump in. Oh god. The tutorial 100% approved. Perfect your post-apocalyptic skills and unlock fancy rewards in these special. Perfect your post-apocalyptic skills and unlock fancy rewards in these special challenging adventures. Most achievements disabled. Scavenge. Scavenge supplies from your house and make sure that Fallout Shelter is well stocked by the end of your run. No survival included. What is that? Survival. Experience a one-of-a-kind post-apocalyptic... I can't say this word. Experience a one-of-a-kind post-apocalyptic adventure. Survive in your Fallout Shelter with randomly selected supplies. Or apocalypse. The full atomic experience. Scavenge around your house for supplies and then survive the post-apocalypse in your Fallout Shelter. Yeah, that's the one I want to do. I'm gonna be Ted. Because why not? That sound scared me. I thought something was going on in my apartment. Select difficulty. Exploration time 20 seconds. Scavenge time 60 seconds. Stock shelter. Prepper style. Pack suitcase. Holiday luggage. Health issues rare. Fragile equipment sturdy. Unwanted visitors few. Trouble sometimes. Oh god. Well, I mean, this is, like, normal, right? And then this is difficult. Oh, goodness. So, I'm gonna go for this one. That way we just go normal for the first go. I don't even know, like, the keybinds. I'm assuming it's WASD. Bad smell, toxic fog. Just put on a gas mask. Keep enjoying life. Okay. Oh, god. Oh, no. I don't have room to pick up my kid. Gotcha. Now I can go back. Will I have time to get my daughter? That's the question. First aid kit. Definitely a necessity. More water. Oh god. I'm not gonna have time to get my daughter, am I? I don't even know where she's at. Oh. Well... I got supplies. I didn't get me. So maybe my son and my wife will survive together in there. You perished. Well, yeah. That happens. Let's try that again. Soup can be stored for up to 737 years. I believe it. Boom, boom. Where is my kid? No, but there's room for that. Take those in there. There's my kid. Grab her. No, I want her. I don't understand how to get into the shelter. Okay. I guess I just go. I didn't get my wife, but I got my kids at least. And some food, and I think some water. And a gun. I don't know how much good any of that's gonna do us, but... Okay, so we got plenty of food, some water. I don't know why I grabbed poison, and we got a Boy Scout thing. Day 1. So, here we are. The 3 of us are safe and sound. We just need to make it work from now on. We really wish it was 4 of us. When we opened the shelter door, we noticed some of the shelves were already stocked. We can't really say we recall putting all these supplies here, but we're definitely going to put them to good use. Our shelves are full of cans. We'll eat from cans, we'll sleep on cans, we'll even talk to cans. Some of us already do. There's just barely enough water for everyone. We still have to ration it strictly. Nobody's hungry or thirsty, so I'm gonna not give anybody anything to do. It's tough surviving in these conditions. Let's hope this will be over soon, or else we might end up dead on some wasteland ditch. That's not something we are looking forward to. Day 2. We're trying our best to remain calm. The situation we're in is far from normal, and we might never get used to it. We hope the help comes soon. There isn't much going on with Ted. No trouble, nothing new. Mary Jane isn't worried, or at least she's not saying so out loud. Timmy seems okay, as much as he can be in our current situation. Time to ration supplies. Nobody's saying that they're hungry or thirsty. So... we'll just give everybody some water. It looks like the area is still irradiated. Going to the wasteland right now is unsafe, unless you don't mind getting sick. Ted is vigorous enough to withstand the hazards of the wasteland. Mary Jane is more than ready to go out and scavenge. Timmy seems quite enthusiastic about the trip. Should we start preparing for an expedition for tomorrow? Sure. Today we met a bunch of people dressed in what looks like a Halloween doctor outfits. They claim to be a field hospital, moving from place to place and attempting to help those hurt by the hazards of the wasteland. Their problem is, some of their supplies got eaten by something that looked like a Sasquatch. They're asking us if we have any spare oxygen peroxide. We don't. Day 3. What is this scam? They're not even real doctors. No way we're giving these crooks anything. Ted is not complaining today, at least not very much. It's impressive how Mary Jane is handling this situation. She looks fine today. No news is good news. There's nothing new going on with Timmy. I'm gonna give everybody some food. No water today, but food. The contamination of our town is still strong. Scavenging in these conditions could result in radiation sickness. Ted seems in really good shape for a trip. Mary Jane could use some rest, but she might manage. Timmy seems quite enthusiastic. Sure, let's do it. Wouldn't you know it, our dear Mary Jane keeps a diary. For some reason, she was hiding it in the scout book we keep in our shelter. We have no doubts what needs to be done right now. Each of us must be assigned a role, and the diary must be read aloud. Right? Sure. Day 4. read the first sentence. Then there was darkness and pain. Lots of pain. The diary is gone. Let's never speak of this again. Ted was hurt. It's always better when things are calm. Luckily, nothing new happened to Mary Jane today. Nothing new to report on Timmy. Time to ration supplies. Ted is hurt. Tiny bit of water for everybody. Alright, enough sitting around. It's time to visit the surface and look for some additional supplies. Maybe something survived the blast. Maybe someone is still alive. Let's find out. We don't have anything to take outside. We'll send Mary Jane. Ted is hurt. Mary Jane went outside. Let's hope she hurries back soon. Ted might have some nasty scars if those wounds ever heal. Despite the dire circumstances, all the trouble we are going through, Timmy is very brave. I thought I gave him... How do I... We can barely breathe in this damn shelter. For the last couple of hours, the situation has been getting noticeably worse. There might be something wrong with the ventilation system. Maybe it's stuck. If that's the case, we need to look into fixing it right away. We'll use the scout handbook. Maybe it'll tell us something. Using the handbook to research vent maintenance seemed to be a fair idea. We figured it's full of pointers on how to fix things. It must have a chapter on nuclear shelter air filtration systems. Before we could even check, we were invaded by a group of angry mutant insects, which flew out of that cursed vent. Their stings hurt like hell and seemed to give us a fever. Ted's injuries are all fixed. Ted seems to be doing alright, even though the world has gone to a crappy place. Timmy seems okay, as much as he can be in our current situation. So they're both fine, they're not gonna eat anything. We are not alone. There's a huge, hairy bunny beast that seems to be hiding in one of the pipes. It's been poking its head out, eyeing our measly food stash. We can't let it get to it. We can't let it be in here when we sleep. Sure, go for it. Oh, well, the gun is broken. Our cans are saved. Too bad for the hairy mutant. Guess we're still on top of the food chain. Good for us. Damn, our gun blew up when we tried to shoot the thing. Ted is really thirsty. Timmy prefers apple juice, but right now we should get him some water. Oh, that's the last of our water. One of the cupboards on the shelf was a bit shaky, so we pulled it out to give it a new home. In the process, we discovered a secret door. Where does it lead? No idea, but let's find out. Day 8. Surprised Mary Jane hasn't come back. Some things are better left untouched and unknown. Whatever is behind that door will have to stay there. We also stacked some furniture against it, just to make sure that no one comes through them. Ted isn't thirsty anymore. Timmy is no longer thirsty. Wouldn't it be fantastic if we could get out and leave? Walk the surface like we used to? Smell the fumes and pollution? Ah, that's the scent of freedom we miss. The phone is ringing. I didn't realize we had a phone. Still, it's better to be safe down here than dead up here. Still, it's better to be safe down here than dead up there. Ted is fine. Like the good scout he is, Timmy is making the best of the situation. He even seems cheerful. I'll give them some soup, because why not? We had thought phone calls were a thing of the past after the atomic bomb obliterated everything in our little town. However, a phone booth on our street survived the bombing somehow. It seems like it's ringing right now. We should send someone to answer it. Send Timmy. When When we answered the phone, we could clearly hear a gasp of relief from the caller. They introduced themselves as survivors from a nearby town of Hill Valley. We had started exchanging information when the call was cut short. Something must have gone wrong on their side. We hope they'll get back to us. If Ted doesn't drink anything, he won't last long. If Timmy doesn't eat much, but he should drink. We don't have any water, so please, let me offer you some soup. It's high time we stopped wondering about what's going on and started asking questions, or at least listened to some reasonable answers. So how about tuning to a radio station and learning a thing or two about the brave new world? We don't have a radio. Day 11. They're gonna die soon. I know they're gonna die soon, they have to. The sky ignorance. They say ignorance is bliss. Another day without any clue of what's going on might not necessarily kill us. Ted looks like he's got one foot in the grave. He needs to get a drink right now. Timmy's in terrible shape. We need to give him water now. Time to ration supplies. Someone is very serious about banging on the hatch. We are scared to open it, but it might be some good news, right? We would gladly welcome any friendly face, even if it was our neighbor, Ned. We're pretty sure that if there was any reason why our town got bombed, he would be the reason. Shall we open? Sure, maybe it's your daughter trying to bring you more water. Day 12. Yep, it's your daughter. Oh, and he's sick. Good job. Opening that hatch was a bit risky. It seems it gave us some awful sickness. That coughing is driving us crazy. Nothing made us happier than the sight of Mary Jane returning to the shelter from the surface. We liked our street, especially during national celebrations. Everyone joined and decorated their lawns and houses. Plenty of fun was to be had. The street doesn't look like it used to for any celebrations anytime soon. Not in the next 100 years, anyway. But we had an idea. Maybe something useful could be found amongst the rubble? We found a refrigerator in the middle of our neighbor's lawn. Even without electricity, the light inside of it was on. It contained a few soup cans, and surprisingly a brown fedora. It wasn't edible. We tried. Plus one soup. Ted looks like he's got one foot in the grave. He needs to get a drink right now. Ted became infected with something. Timmy's in terrible shape. We need to give him water now. Mary Jane is quite hungry. Mary Jane is quite tired. The state of the wasteland remains unknown to us. Maybe we should risk it and go out again. After all, you can only live once. I'm gonna send Timmy out. If there's anyone who can rescue us from this hellish situation, it's our government. You can badmouth them all you want, but that probably means you're either a naysayer or a commie. We're good citizens. We've been paying our taxes regularly, so we're sure Uncle Sam is coming to get us. Well, except that one time when we... Never mind. The government people are coming, and we should keep our ears and eyes open for any sign of them. Good luck with that. Oh. Oh. If there's one thing we need to do, it's to use a radio on a regular basis to catch any emergency broadcasts that might be transmitted in our area. It's either that or strolling around outside waiting to get picked up. The first option sounds a bit more sane. Mary Jane is quite hungry. Mary Jane is still tired. Let's give her some time to recover. We should let Mary Jane get something to drink. Too many days without water. They're told Ted died of dehydration. Lack of water drove Timmy insane. He opened the shelter door and ran away without looking back. He's not likely to return. Of all places we could have perished, this is probably the best one. Or maybe not. We survived for 13 days. I mean, almost 2 weeks. Almost. Goodness. We're gonna try this one more time and see if we can actually manage to get plenty of water and food. I might just get like one kid and myself, but I'm going to make sure I have plenty of supplies. You know what? I'm gonna go as Dolores. Because why not? I feel like she might be able to like move faster or something, or she'll probably have less hands. I don't know. Pick up your kid. water, and that was my main goal. Come on. We will not survive long. We got 1 water, and we didn't get Timmy. Oops. Or did I get Timmy? I don't remember. Did I actually get all 4 people for once? That might not be a good thing considering I got 1 can of soup. And 1 water. Okay, we did get all 4. And we got the radio this time, and a flashlight. Okay. All of us made it to the shelter just a second before the blast. That was a close one. As long as we're all together, we can make it work down here. We remember hearing canned soup is healthy for you. We can't remember bringing those supplies down to the shelter, but we're not complaining. We probably should have stocked it better anyway. Okay, cool. The radio was already in here. We don't have that much food. No one's complaining yet, but even canned soup might become an extravagant dish quite soon. There's just barely enough water for everyone. We will have to ration it strictly. I'm not giving anybody anything on first day. It's difficult to keep our spirits in this situation. We do hope this whole mess will be over soon, or else we might end up in a place much worse than this cozy shelter. Everybody looks okay. We're trying our best to remain calm. The situation we're in is far from normal, and we might never get used to it. We hope the help comes soon. Dolores is quite calm given the situation. Ted is fine. Mary Jane is feeling safe. Who wouldn't in this coffin-sized shelter? Timmy is all good. Well, at least he was 5 minutes ago. Give everybody some water. That way nobody dies. It looks like the area is still irradiated. Going to the wasteland right now is unsafe, unless you don't mind getting sick. I'm gonna send Ted. Timmy and Mary Jane are in need of some physical exercise. Letting them run outside in the wasteland seems like a bit too adventurous, but they could play tag inside the shelter. It's not like they have any expensive vases or antique dishes down here to be broken. Should we let the kids play? Sure. Let them run around outside, it'll be fine. They totally won't die out there. And that's dead. Okay, great. Once again, we have proven to be the irresponsible parents. Letting children run around in such small spaces cannot end well. We're not sure who pushed who and what exactly caused it, but the kids managed to shove some items off the shelf. Truth be told, the kids seem a bit happier, so maybe it's not the end of the world? Wait, it actually is. Dolores is quite calm given the situation. This morning has been calm enough for Ted, and he's doing well. Mary Jane didn't cause any trouble today, and no trouble dared to cross her path. Nothing new to report on Timmy. Cool. We've been preparing for this expedition since yesterday, and feel ready to go right now. Who should be the lucky one to venture into the unknown? We'll send Timmy. Send him first. I was gonna send Ted, but I'll send Timmy first. He'll probably come back with something completely useless, if he comes back. Timmy went out into the wasteland. We don't know what he'll do if he doesn't come back. Today's been fine for Dolores thus far. Ted is not complaining today, at least not very much. Mary Jane seems fine today. Hopefully it will stay that way. Everybody's fine, so nobody's getting anything. We woke up to a dripping sound today and noticed there's something leaking from the pipes. That green liquid looked innocent enough even after it ate through the table, and the chair, and the floor. Patching it up that pipe is probably a good idea. But we don't have anything, so... We couldn't figure it out, so we just assumed that's what a regular pipe would do in the event of a nuclear apocalypse. And decided to ignore it. We've been feeling a bit funny today, though. Probably no connection to the pipe. None whatsoever. Water is all Dolores wants. Ted should drink something soon. Water is what Mary Jane needs for right now. So everybody will get some water. Every new smell attacks our noses in this little shelter instantly. There isn't much we can miss, so when a single brick fell out from the wall revealing a tight opening, our senses were immediately invaded by a terrible stench. We should probably check that hole and see what source of that smell is. Sure. Maybe you'll get some food. Maybe it's a dead animal. You never know. looked into the hole, fearing something might come at us with claws, fangs, or other mutated and sharp body parts, but nothing happened. Instead, we found a dead rat who was trying to break into a can of tomato soup. He failed miserably. We have a feeling we'll be luckier than him, so we confiscated it. We gave the rat a proper burial in an empty can. He deserved that much. Dolores is no longer thirsty, Ted isn't thirsty anymore, and Ted is hungry. Mary Jane is no longer thirsty. Cool. Ted will get some. We're either going crazy or this entire shelter is crawling with little insects, or worse. It's worse. They're spiders. And not some miniature ones, but huge, furry, and very creepy beasts. We've got to do something about them. We'll use our first aid kit, I guess. Maybe Timmy some? Maybe there's no spiders and it's all just a hallucination. A few pills might help. Guess what? They did! No more spiders. Problem gone. Dolores has not eaten for a while. Ted isn't hungry anymore. Mary Jane is quite hungry. Someone's at the door. We're a bit scared, but maybe it's a friendly face of an American soldier. Should we open it? Sure. It's probably just Timmy right now. Or not. A group of travelers. We got water! A group of travelers wearing gas masks and carrying some serious-looking equipment gave us purified water. Before we could thank them, they turned away and left. Opening that hatch was a bit risky. It seems it gave us some awful sickness. That coughing is driving us crazy. Dolores is no longer hungry. There has to be some water left. Dolores should get it. Dolores got it. All Ted wishes for are a few drops of water. Mary Jane is no longer hungry. Water is what Mary Jane... Okay, so they all need water. It's so easy to escalate silly arguments in close quarters. Don't help. And close quarters don't help. We were chatting, and then suddenly we were fighting and fighting. Let's just hope we'll get over this soon. Forgot everybody's sick. Oh. Oh no. And that's what I'm playing as. I need her to not die. We could barely sleep after all that arguing. Let's hope this doesn't happen again. Dolores is still quite ill. Dolores is no longer thirsty. Ted is no longer thirsty. Mary Jane is no longer thirsty. We found some weird mushrooms growing on one of the walls. Food shortage is no laughing matter, so maybe it would be a good idea to grab a mushroom bite or two? What's the worst thing that can happen? I'm gonna say no to that. We've got plenty of food, it's fine. And from the sounds of it, Timmy's home. And he is also sick, but Dolores isn't anymore, so hey. We may be hungry, but there are just some things that we will never eat. Wall fungus is one of them. We were so afraid for Timmy, but he came back from the wasteland and is safe with us now. The silent wasteland had at least one resident who managed quite well. It was a proud-looking monkey. We had no idea where it came from. The zoo, maybe? It seemed very friendly. After getting a few pats on the back and playing touch with it, it started following us. While we explored one of the streets, our monkey companion ran away, only to come back moments later carrying a can of food. It couldn't open it himself, but it was happy to share it with us. Sweet, 2 more things of food. At one point during our expedition, the monkey started making weird sounds and digging in front of us with a stick. A quick investigation revealed a few bottles of water. No one had even tried to open them. The same couldn't be said about the bottles of booze lying next to them. So we got an extra water, that's cool. This last expedition got us thinking, maybe we could just drive away from this nightmare somehow? Of course, most automobiles already are completely burnt out, but if we find a solid base and scavenge enough parts, perhaps we could build a vehicle of our own. We better keep an eye out for those on future expeditions. Dolores was cured from her illness. Timmy should eat something. Timmy is really tired, and Timmy fell sick. Ted is not complaining today, at least not very much. Mary Jane didn't cause any trouble today. No trouble crossed her path. I'm gonna give him some food and water. Our neighborhood is still highly radioactive. Trips to the surface are a big risk. Yeah, we'll send Ted tomorrow. We could have sworn that the huge puddle of water wasn't there earlier, and there goes another one. Oh damn it. We're getting flooded. Let's grab some of our supplies before they start floating. Day 11. The radio was rescued first before any of that filthy liquid got into its case. It wasn't long before most of the water disappeared, but the damage it had done was enough to upset us. Cleaning and fixing this mess will take days. And what's that smell? Timmy should eat something. Timmy is still quite sickly. Timmy needs to rest a bit longer. There has to be some water left. Dolores should get it. Dolores has not eaten for a while. Where is water when Ted needs it? Getting something to drink for Mary Jane sounds like the right idea. Her diet could use a little food. Alright, alright. Well, I'll get some water and some food. Enjoy. We're gonna send out Mary Jane this time. Because, why not? Just send the children to do our bidding. It's fine, it's fine. Mary Jane went outside. Let's hope she hurries back soon. Timmy should eat something. Timmy's looking very pale. This is not good. Timmy still has not rested. Dolores is no longer thirsty or hungry. Ted is no longer thirsty. Timmy will get a little bit of everything again. Open in the name of freedom, came a shout from outside the door. We weren't sure who claimed to be representing freedom, but we could hear it was a group of people, probably armed. Anyone who introduces themselves like that is probably planning to kill someone in the name of freedom. Should we open? Sure. And the phone was ringing. I mean, we had an axe we could use. We got more water. Yes. We regretted opening the door the minute we saw who was standing on the other side. Dark faces, rifles, and determined looks of a band of teenagers. We're doomed, we thought. Then, out of the blue, one of them asked if we were with the Reds. We've never supported the Red Sox, so we confidently said that we weren't. The tension dropped immediately, and those nice young people gave us 2 bottles of water. They also told us to have no fear since Wolverines are around. We're not sure what Wolverines had to do with all this, but we took their word for it. Timmy is looking very pale. That's not good. Timmy keeps falling asleep in his chair. He needs a few days to rest. Timmy is no longer hungry. If there was anything to report about Dolores, this is where it would have been written. Well, it's true. Ted says there's no need to worry about him. He's okay. Timmy's not hungry, but I am giving him water. We didn't expect to get a phone call so soon after the atomic bomb drop. Yet here we are. We can clearly hear a phone ringing outside. It must be the public phone booth on the other side of the street. Should someone go and answer it? Sure, we'll send Ted. Day 14. We've officially lived longer than the last time. When we answered the phone, we could clearly hear a gasp of relief from the caller. They introduced themselves as survivors from a nearby town of Hill Valley. We had started exchanging information when the call was cut short. Something must have gone wrong on their side. We hope they'll get back to us. Timmy still hasn't rested. Timmy was cured. That's great. Water is all Dolores wants. Where's water when Ted needs it? So, Dolores and Ted, you are both getting some water. We've got plenty of it. It's high time we stopped wondering about what's going on and started asking questions, or at least listened to some reasonable answers. So how about turning on a radio station and learning a thing or two about the brave new world? Let's do it. You have a radio for a reason, why not use it every day? Day 15. We were able to get a weak signal and tap into the government's emergency announcement service. And guess what? Great news! The fallout outside is mostly gone. It should be much safer to travel the surface now. Timmy keeps falling asleep in his chair. He needs a few days to rest. Dolores is no longer thirsty, but hasn't eaten in a while. Ted isn't thirsty anymore. Ted is hungry. As long as we have food and water, we can stay locked in, but we'll have to leave eventually. It would be good to head straight to safety instead of getting ourselves into more trouble, if that's even possible in this situation. Our hope is that our brave soldiers will come to rescue us and take us to some well-hidden, well-stocked government shelter. Timmy had comics about those, so you know they must exist. All we need to do is make contact with the military. Keep using your radio. Mary Jane's back. And she's sick, of course. We knew it. The government has not fallen, and they're coming to save us. They didn't give exact dates in the radio transmission, but we're sure they won't keep us waiting long. They said they'll be in touch in a couple of days and told us to await further instructions. Nothing made us happier than the sight of Mary Jane returning to the shelter from the surface. We found our way to a nearby hospital, which, despite heavy structural damage, is still standing. The site wasn't pretty, though. What used to be inside the hospital is now all over the place. Whatever survived the blast wave, anyway. Wow, she brought back a lot. The canteen had a respectable supply of tomato soup. It looked like this was the only thing they fed their patients. Now we're 100% sure it's healthy. There were plenty of bottles of liquid in one of the wards. Peroxide or not, water is water, and beggars can't be choosers. It wasn't hard to find a fully equipped first aid kit in a hospital after all. One of the surviving hospital beds had a gas mask. Nice! We got a new gas mask. Hanging on it, along with a note that read, "Wear this, patient smells really bad." Alright. We window shopped nearby parking lots for a vehicle that wasn't completely burnt out. Unfortunately, we found nothing of value. Maybe future expeditions will be more lucky. Mary Jane is quite hungry and tired, and she has an illness. Dolores is no longer hungry, and Ted is no longer hungry. Timmy has rested. He doesn't need much, but he should drink. Alright, so Timmy's gonna get some water, and she's gonna get some water and food. We're not certain about the situation on the surface. The trip could be risky, but we could use the supplies. We're gonna send Ted. Timmy is not doing great. It would be good to talk to him and cheer him up. Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do in this situation. Day 17. Oh, look at that beard and the fluffy hair. Even a word or two may be enough to brighten someone's mood. Timmy seems to be better now. Mary Jane is hungry and sick, and she needs time to recover. Timmy is very hungry, not thirsty. So Mary Jane and Timmy both need food. Dolores needs water, and Ted needs water. We need to make a choice for today's expedition. We're sending Ted out. They each only have one hand, so we're sending Ted. Day 18. Ted left for the surface. We hope he'll be back soon. Mary Jane needs food and meds. Dolores is fine. Fine. On our way back from the last expedition, we noticed some drawings on a half-ruined wall nearby. It was a very crude map of our town, and one place was marked with X. Maybe it's someone's secret stash of soup. Shall we go and check it out? Yeah, sure, we'll send Timmy. He's going back. This treasure hunt actually turned out to be fun, despite taking place in a radioactive dump that is our town. I don't even know what that is. Despite... More importantly, though, it was successful. It was successful and we managed to find a small package. Whatever is in it will definitely prove useful. Mary Jane seems sleepy all the time. She has no energy for anything. She's no longer hungry and is all well now. Good. We should get Mary Jane something to drink. Some water for Timmy would be nice. Today was relatively calm for Dolores. People will get something to drink. Playing a game or two might be a good way to relieve the mood and take our minds off the problems of today and tomorrow. And hey, playing games is a good way for you, so it is good for you, so why not give it a try every now and then? Okay. Day 20. Ooh, I got an achievement, Survivalist. We decided to act out scenes from our favorite movies to amuse ourselves, at least for a moment. For some reason, every time we picked a new scene, we ended up with one from the Humphrey Bogart film. Mary Jane seems sleepy all the time. She has no energy for anything. But she's not thirsty. Dolores will not last long without water or food. So she'll get both. Sometimes the sudden urge to play an instrument takes over us, to create beautiful sounds, to be shaped with the world around us, to sing and to play, and have cute mutated animals come to our feet and listen, like a post-apocalyptic Snow White. Shall we? Go for it. I'm not telling you how to go live your life, although technically I am. Day 21. Hey, it's been 3 weeks! Oh god, the pet bug. Be careful what you wish for. After a few minutes of playing, a small group of mutated cockroaches jumped out of the cracks in our walls and started moving to the rhythm of the song. They ran around in circles and shook their little antennae. It would be adorable if they weren't so disgusting. What are we supposed to do with them now? Dolores is fine, Mary Jane is rested, Timmy is very happy. The funky roaches haven't really left us. To be fair, they aren't causing that much trouble. They seem relatively friendly and curious. Just this morning when we opened our eyes, we saw them standing in a perfect line right in front of us, as if they're waiting for something. They want you to play their music. I guess Disco Roach is an achievement, apparently. If you can't beat them, join them. We figured the roaches are craving more of our music, so we fulfilled their unspoken request. They started joyfully prancing around again, creating fun shapes on the floor. Then, all of a sudden, they all left in one line. We thought the show was over, but then they came back in a group carrying supplies on their strong, mutated backs. Insane. Looks like we made some new friends, discussing mutated radioactive friends. So, a new soup and a new water. Ted has safely returned from his voyage to the surface. Unfortunately, the search was futile. We gained nothing from the excursion. Ted's hungry and tired, and he's sick. We should get Mary Jane something to drink. I think I'm gonna give everybody food and water today. That way we at least have something. We'll send Timmy out on another expedition. Because, I mean, he seemed excited to go, so we'll send him. And I don't want to send myself, because if I die, I die. A shocking discovery. It was a dirty ice cream truck. It was a little crispy around the edges, and it was also missing wheels and some crucial parts, but the seats were fairly comfortable. Wouldn't it be amazing to just drive away and leave this radioactive hell behind us? Ted is hungry, and he's coughing and coughing. Mary Jane is flying and Timmy is going. So we gotta give Ted some soup and some water. We're feeling pretty optimistic about today's expedition. The only thing left to do is choose the right person to go outside. Oh, that's right, we're sending Timmy. Bye, Timmy. Day 24. Pretty sure this only goes to 30 days, so would be nice. Timmy went out to the wasteland. We don't know what we'll do if he doesn't come back. Ted is still sick and tired. 2 days rest. He's not hungry anymore. Today's been fine for Dolores. Mary Jane isn't worried. At least she's not saying it out loud. So everybody's good. A young man knocked on our door today asking for help. He said he has been watching us for a while and he believes we're good and decent people. Although he hoped we would meet in different circumstances, he could really use our help now. The mission is rescuing his twin sister who went missing while trying to infiltrate a nearby bandit camp. He promises it'll be worth it for a while. We'll send Mary Jane. Why not? She's already sick. Might as well send her anyway. The young man was assisted by a group of other survivors, all armed and really friendly. We found the girl, threw her a weapon, and fought off the bandits guarding the exit. Siblings were happy to be reunited, but also very confused. Turns out the bandit leader is actually their father. Crazy, small world we live in. Anyway, they were really thankful and promised to contact us again soon. Ted keeps coughing and coughing, but has rested. If there's one thing we need, it's water for Dolores. We should get Mary Jane something to drink. Get both the ladies something to drink. Another broadcast from the military. They said they needed to locate the general area we're in, and that they want us to leave specific markings close by. They said the markings should be cards, playing cards. How strange is that? We're supposed to go out into the nearest bus stop and pin the cards denoting our head count there. Weird. Perhaps if we're doing it, the time is now. Well, we didn't get any cards, so... Damn it, we missed our chance to let the military know where we are. There's a good bet they'll be back to get us again. But when will that be? Ted keeps coughing and coughing. If Ted doesn't drink anything, he won't last long. Dolores is no longer thirsty. Mary Jane is no longer thirsty, but needs food. So he needs water, she needs food. We're about to be out of food. A sleazy-looking trader carrying an equally scruffy bag on his shoulder paid us a visit. He offered us a simple one-time deal. For just one can of soup, we get the bag and all its contents. We can't see what's inside, and the trader gives us an angry glances every time we take a step toward the mysterious bag. Should we make it? You know what? We're already almost out of soup. We're gonna run out of soup anyway. Might as well make it. Oh, we got a cat! Nice. Hello, kitty. We're out of food, but we have a cat. As soon as the door closed behind the traitor, the bag started violently shake, emitting screeching, hellish sounds. Terrified, we backed up against the walls. When the beast finally escaped, it turns out to be just an angry house cat. The feline gave us a menacing look, and promptly sat down in the corner to clean itself. Its collar says Sherikov? Is that its name? Ted needs food. And that's it. That is the last of our food. We could really use some more supplies. We contacted all of them today and the numbers did not make us happy. We counted all of them today and the numbers did not make us happy. Time to do something about it. We know that a teacher from the local school managed to rescue a bunch of kids and lead them to a nearby building where they're relatively safe. We could really use whatever they have. We could really use it, right? Sure, go steal from underprivileged kids that are part of this too. Oh god, we got an achievement called the Dark Side. That's a bit worrisome. We went and got what we needed and came back. We're sure that the group will do just fine. Most probably, yeah, absolutely. Ted keeps coughing and coughing, but isn't hungry anymore. Dolores can't remain this thirsty for long. Dolores is putting on a brave face, but she must be starving. Everyone has to drink sometimes, including Mary Jane. I'm gonna give everybody some water since we don't have any food. Today we met a bunch of people dressed in what looked like Halloween doctor outfits. They claimed to be a field hospital moving from place to place, attempting to help those hurt by hazards of the wasteland. The problem is some of their supplies get eaten by something that looks like a Sasquatch. They're asking us if we have any spare oxygen peroxide. I'm gonna say no. It's the last time they ended up being fake doctors. They're all like half dead. We don't think they were real doctors, but just in case they were, we got rid of them quickly before they could start charging us for a home visit. Dolores has been putting on a brave face, though she must be starving. Dolores is no longer thirsty, but she's pretty fatigued. Ted hasn't recovered from his illness. Mary Jane is no longer thirsty. I'm gonna give Ted a little bit of water. Hopefully it'll help him get over his sickness. A coded note was left on our doorstep. It's all symbols and numbers and some sort of cipher that will need to be cracked before we can read the letter. Dolores seems eager for this challenge. However, it's hard to tell how long this could take her, and it could prove to be a waste of her time. Should she keep herself busy with it? Yeah. Hate that they're all sick. Day 30. Dolores instantly sat down with the code and started working on it with a purpose. She looked very focused. Let's hope the note is worth staying up all night. Dolores looks very tired already. Dolores has been putting on a brave face, but she must be starving. Dolores is really tired. I don't want her to die, because if she dies, we lose. Ted is still sick. There isn't enough food to go around. Even Ted has nothing to eat. Mary Jane says she's fine and doesn't need anything. Well, we felt that we should do something about our interior decoration. The feng shui is really off in our fallout shelter. While we were moving things around, we found a secret door. What's behind it? There's only one way to find out. Flashlight. Please don't die. Day 31. Oh, hey. Sun's back. While looking through the room with the flashlight, we ran into an old rifle that used to belong to Grandpa Bill. We believe he brought it back from Europe after World War I. It seems to be in working order, even though in his final years, Bill was more concerned with smoking like a chimney and trying on his beret. We were so afraid for Timmy, but he came back from the wasteland and is safe with us now. Government is dropping supplies for survivors in the area. They are marked with smoke flares and can easily be seen, but most of them are barely reachable. Despite that, a lot of them are already ransacked by scavengers. How did they do that? Oh my god, food! One of the food drops broke in mid-air and now it's raining soup. Luckily for us, a few cans survived the fall. Some crates were filled with very weird stuff. Why did they drop a crate of rubber ducks? At least there's one of the smaller crates that had a few water bottles in it. We believe that our expedition into the wasteland must have been followed by strangers. We should be more cautious next time. Dolores needs more time to rest. She seems exhausted. She's barely any strength left. If she doesn't eat tonight, she'll not last till morning. You're all gonna get food. You're all gonna get water, since we got some. It seems awfully quiet outside. Maybe it's safe, maybe it's not. We don't know until we go out. I don't think we should, because I don't think Ted would even survive. We haven't had food the last couple more days, it's fine. While trying to pet the little devil, we found a piece of paper on its collar with an address scribbled on it. Could it be the previous owner still could the previous owner still be around and worried and sick? Chances are slim, but maybe we should pay them a visit, or at least whatever's left of them. Sure. Day 32. And the cat is gone. We grabbed our new fluffy friend for a little stroll through the waste, only to immediately run into a couple of gentlemen dressed in trench coats, fedoras, and shades. They gritted their teeth at the sight of the cat and said they'd been looking for it. Apparently it belongs to the dear old man who loves it dearly. Before we could utter a word, they took Sherikov and thanked us and left. The cat didn't seem to mind, so maybe it's for the best? Dolores needs to sleep, and she needs to eat. Timmy needs to eat. Everybody else seems fine. It took several days and a lot of silent cursing, but Dolores finally cracked the code. Impressive. The note contained detailed directions for some secret location nearby, but it also says Dolores must show up alone. She says she's willing to go, but we can't help wondering whether it's some sort of trap. Should we risk it? Go for it. If we die, we die. We're already at, like, day 30s. Dolores is on her way to the surface. Let's hope she'll make it back safe and sound. Yeah, because if she dies, I lose. Ted keeps coughing and coughing. Timmy should eat something. Timmy keeps falling asleep in his chair and needs a few days of rest. Mary Jane didn't cause any trouble today, so Ted needs water and Timmy needs to eat. Timmy noticed his old telescope in a pile of rubble on the other side of the street. He got really excited about stargazing again. After all, the night sky is one of the very few things that still look about the same after the blast. Should we let Timmy go out and stare pointlessly at the sky? Sure. Enigma. Day 34. Oh, 2 more water and 2 more soup. See, I knew that was a good idea. Timmy came back claiming he saw a mustached man on the moon. What nonsense is it? It is probably just a smudge on the lens. Dolores came back and looked relaxed and carrying extra supplies. The note was written by her dear old friend Peggy, who now inhabits a shelter together with the other work colleagues of Dolores. She claims it was some sort of secretary job from before she married Ted. It's weird how little we know about that time in her life. She's quite a private person, our dear Dolores, but clearly all these years have made friendships for life. These supplies will surely prove useful. We were glad to see Dolores came back safely from the wasteland. She's hungry. Ted is still sick. So Dolores needs food, Timmy needs water, and Mary Jane needs water. The state of the wasteland remains unknown. Maybe we should risk it and go out. After all, you only live once. Mary Jane's feeling excellent, so we're gonna send her home tomorrow. It's hard to keep track of the time down here. We can't tell if it's night or day. Our sleeping patterns are so messed up. There's terrible light bulbs, they're not helping. Too bad we can't replace them. There has to be something we can do about this. Nope. Sorry. Oh, the cat's back. Bravely ignoring our symptoms, we tried to get at least an hour or 2 of sleep. No luck. We're even more tired than we were, and there are other problems we still need to face soon. Let's just hope our yawning will be enough to scare raiders away to save us from the radiation sickness. To our surprise, we found Sherikov back in our shelter this morning. We're not exactly sure why or how it came back, but is it our good care it appreciates? Our kind hearts? Optimism? Or just our stockpile of soup cans? Only time will tell. Dolores is hungry. Ted is hungry, and he's gone crazy. Mary Jane is hungry. Let me give everybody some food and water. It's about time we choose someone to scavenge for remains in our talents for supplies. I guess we'll send Dolores. Day 36. The cat's just loving life. Dolores is on her way to the surface. Let's hope she'll make it back safe and sound. Something should be done about Ted's sickness. Ted's mental health worries us all, but we don't know how to help him. He hasn't recovered his energy. He isn't hungry anymore. When Mary Jane is tired, she becomes cranky. She should be better in a few days. She's not hungry anymore. Timmy still hasn't rested. I'm gonna give him some water and hope that maybe it helps with his sickness. They're still trying to do the whole card thing. Somebody's knocking. Maybe the government's here to save us. Damn it, we missed our chance to let the military know where we are. There's a good bet they'll be back to us again. But when will that be? Ted is still sick. Ted's mental health worries us all, but we don't know how to help him. Ted still hasn't recovered his energy. When Mary Jane is tired, she becomes cranky. She should be better in a few days. Timmy is falling asleep in his chair and needs a few days to rest. So nobody needs anything. So we can get a water in exchange for the poison that we have, and we can get a water in exchange for the flashlight. Oh, we can only do one. A stranger pushing a rusty wheelbarrow filled with all kinds of goods stopped by today. He claims he is a trader looking to barter for items he requires. Sure. Day 30th? After making the trade, the man packed his things into the wheelbarrow and departed. Before leaving, he uttered something about bandit activity nearby and how dangerous the area is. But we gotta do water. Ted is still sick. He isn't acting normally. Sometimes his behavior is pretty disturbing. Ted is still tired. A few days of rest is what he needs. Mary Jane sleeps all the time and she has no energy for anything. Getting something to drink for Mary Jane sounds like the right idea. Timmy needs to rest a bit longer. So Timmy and Mary Jane both need water. Sure, times are hard, and there isn't much need to shave anymore, but beards are still not welcome in this house. Any means of cutting a beard is acceptable. Say, the axe looks quite sharp, maybe it could help with some beard trimming? You know what? You go for it. You want to trim your beard? You want to kill yourself? But he looks so much nicer! I'm surprised he didn't just, like, decapitate himself, because he's crazy. With some skill, trimming a beard with an axe turned out to be both possible and quite relaxing. We should do it more often. Ted hasn't recovered from an illness yet. He isn't acting normally. He has rested, though, and he should drink something. So Ted needs food and water. Everybody else is fine. Mary Jane didn't utter a single word today. This is very odd. Maybe someone should figure out what's going on with it. Sure, talk to your kid. Day 40. Nothing solves problems better than an honest conversation with a hot beverage. Over a hot beverage. I was really confused. We don't have the latter, but talking alone seems to do the trick. Ted keeps coughing and coughing. He isn't acting normally. He's not thirsty and he's not hungry. Mary Jane isn't worried, or at least she's not saying it out loud. Nothing new to report on. We stumbled upon a weird signal when changing the radio frequencies. We're pretty sure that behind layers of terrible static and screams, we could hear a voice speaking in a foreign language. Oh dear, what of the Soviets? We should probably listen to it. But what about the children? Let them listen too. They're gonna die in the shelter. Day 41? Hey, she's back! We were relieved at first when we figured out it wasn't Soviets we heard. Turns out it was Canadians, which isn't that much better. Sorry, Keith. Either way, they're foreigners and we couldn't understand what they were saying. Not a word. How disappointing. We were glad to see Dolores came back safely from the wasteland. We were cautiously exploring the neighborhood when we got cornered by a scary-looking thug with a shotgun. The odds weren't in our favor until a crate fell out of the sky and dropped right down on the bandit. Excellent timing, government aid. A food drop, that's what we needed. What did they drop this time? Bread? Cheese? Meat? Chocolate? No. Tomato soup cans. Hooray! Someone forgot to fill the water crate with something to soften the fall. As a result, most of the bottles were shattered. Luckily, a few of them survived. That should be enough to keep us going for a bit. Every responsible and respectable family needs a first aid kit filled with some high-quality drugs. We were running short, so the opportunity to replenish them was something... Oh, thank God. We were eagerly awaiting. We just didn't expect a medical container to fall on another scavenger's head. That was pretty traumatic. We might need some drugs to cope with the memory. Our little trip to the surface might have been spotted and followed. We should be more careful next time. Dolores needs food. I'm going to give everybody food and water, and I'm also going to use that. The state of the wasteland remains unknown. Mary Jane's ready to go out. We felt like something was staring at us from the corner of the shelter. We think it's a rat, at least it looks like a rat on a very good diet. We decided we need to do something about it, or to put it more bluntly, it's either him or us. Let's use the axe. Day 42. Oh look, he looks so much better. Whatever it was, it's dead now. Quite dead. Maybe there was more hiding somewhere in one of those nasty little holes. Dolores has not eaten for a while. You ate yesterday! Ted isn't acting normally. Sometimes his behavior is pretty disturbing. He's recovered from his sickness, though. So we're gonna feed Dolores. We're feeling pretty optimistic about today's expedition. That's right, we're gonna send Mary Jane. Day 43. At least everybody looks somewhat healthy. Healthy being a relative term. During one of its insane episodes at around 3 o'clock last night, Sherikov ran face first into the wall, causing a loose brick to fall out. Behind it was a cigar box with some ammunition inside. Thanks, whoever left it there. Mary Jane went outside. Let's hope she hurries back soon. Dolores would really love to eat something. Dolores is still tired and can't seem to fight it off. Ted's mental health worries us all, but we don't know how to help him. Nothing new to report on Timmy. So Dolores needs to eat again. And we'll give everybody some water. Why not? We have it. Curiosity almost killed the cat. Sherikov found a tiny wire sticking out from the ceiling and pulled it out. Plaster and debris fell on our table, topped off with a big meowing furball. What is this thing anyway? Nobody remembers it being there before. The cat might get angry if we take away the wire, so maybe it's best we leave it. Or should we examine that wire? Examine it. Let's see, maybe it'll lead us out. Day 44. We grabbed the cable and followed it up to a rusty old truck parked in our neighbor's driveway. Upon opening the door, we were confronted with two men wearing huge headphones who looked extremely surprised to see us. They wiretapped our shelter when we were asleep, and they were listening to everything we said. We gave them hell and marched back to our bunker. Dolores has complained she still can't get a good night's sleep around here, but she's not hungry. Ted's mental health worries us all, but we don't know how to help him. Timmy seems okay as much as he can be in our current situation. The agents who were spying on us are now at the door and want to explain themselves. Should we hear them out? Sure, maybe they'll give us something. Or they'll kill us. Either way. Day 45. I don't see anything new, so... They were agents, real, live, secret agents on a government mission. We saw their identity cards. Briefly. They weren't listening in on us. It was the cat that they were invested in. They made a request too, wanting us to aid them with some of their top secret missions in the future. If we do that, they promise they will extract us to a government safe house full of supplies and donuts. Hopefully they will come back soon with more information. Dolores complains she still can't get a good night's sleep. Ted seems to be losing it. Either do something or this bunker will drive him completely insane. Timmy should eat something. It's been a while since we showered. The smell of this tiny shelter is as far from roses as we can get. We had thought of washing ourselves. Too bad we didn't grab any soap along the way, or maybe we can make do with something else. Day 46. kill you makes you stronger. If we can survive just a little longer, dirty ears shouldn't be much of a problem, just to be sure. Dibs on the gas mask. What Ted did today was really absurd. During dinner, he suddenly jumped out of his seat and started boxing the gas mask hanging on the wall. He appeared to trade insults as well as blows with the inanimate object. Apparently, he had mistaken the mask for a bloodthirsty stranger intent on stealing our cans. Although we were very impressed with his right hook, and his eagerness to defend our family, violence is really not his style. Also, the mask completely destroyed. Ted really showed it who's boss. Dolores is still tired and can't seem to sleep it off. Dolores has to drink sometimes. So Dolores needs water. Timmy is no longer hungry. So Dolores and Timmy both need water. I'm gonna... Actually, hold on. Let's give everybody some water. I don't know what to do for Ted. We don't have cards! We can't do this! Day 47. Damn it, we missed our chance to let the military know where we are. There's a good bet they will get back to us again, but when would that be? Ted seems to be losing it. Either do something or this bunker will drive him completely insane. Dolores is rested, but she hasn't eaten for a while. The last thing we expected to hear while sitting in a fallout shelter was a trumpet. It was played by someone who was clearly not a trumpet player and who had probably never heard a trumpet player in his entire life. He came with a friend who knocked on the door and demanded that we let the merry men enter so they could take from the rich and give to the poor. Should we let them? Are they gonna take something from us or give us something? Guess we'll find out. Day 48. Oh, he looks either more insane or better. I can't quite decide. Okay, so they took our lock and our bullets. Great. These merry men were not merry at all. They told us that we were rich and that we should share with the other 99% of the wasteland. They grabbed a few things and left. We couldn't do anything to stop them. Their green clothes were too damn hypnotizing. Ted seemed to be losing it. Either do something or this bunker will drive him completely insane. Dolores is no longer hungry. Timmy is the best behavior. How long will it last? You would expect the post-apocalypse to be a time of peace and quiet since, you know, most of the people aren't around anymore, yet here we all have someone at the door. When we opened it, we encountered a strange-looking man in a blue jumpsuit who asked us to trade him a water chip. A water chip? What in the hell is that? I don't know how much water we have left, but you know what? Sure. I think that may have been our last water. Day 49. Hopefully Mary Jane comes back soon with stuff. The visitor wasn't very happy that we didn't have a water chip or that we didn't know what that one was. He did help himself to the water we offered him and explained the chip is of utmost importance. Before we learned anything more, he left us for the wasteland. Ted seemed to be losing it. Either do something. If Ted doesn't drink anything, he won't last long. There has to be some water left. Dolores should get it. So they all need water, and I'm giving it to Dolores because, I don't want to die. A woman came by with a creature she claims as a camel. She claims is a camel, provided that camels have 5 legs. The animal is carrying a pack of goods for trade. So we can get water in exchange for a radio. We need water more than we need a radio at this point. Day 50. So quiet now. We exchanged 4 waters? We exchanged goods with the trader and she went her way. Before she left, she insisted that we should listen to the radio broadcast if we ever want to get out of that shelter and find a safer place to be. Nothing makes us happier than the sight of Mary Jane returning from the shelter from the surface. We went on a trip to a more specific place, this time a local museum on Tranquility Lane. Several rooms had a corridor wall decorated with some charred paintings that had survived the blast. The whole place doesn't even look that bad. It's almost like a modern art exhibit. In front of the museum canteen, we found a box with some water bottles in it. It was probably left there by some delivery company. That delivery company is probably out of business now. Our guess is it was blown out of the market. Between the rubble, we found a half-destroyed statue of a lady. She didn't have a lot of clothes on, save for a gas mask somebody put on her face, probably as a joke. This is the third gas mask we've had. We were hesitant to approach the lady was dressed immodestly, but then we saw she was holding an urn. As long as there's an urn, it's art, and it's okay to look at it. Everyone knows that. The gift shop was a sorry state. While it's still standing, the whole place was flooded with souvenirs and junk. Or both. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. The only useful thing we found was a padlock that was securing the safe behind the counter. The safe itself was empty, of course. We believe that our expedition on the wasteland must have been followed by strangers. We should be more cautious next time. Ted, looks like he's got one foot in the grave. Mary Jane is hungry and tired. Everybody's getting water. Let me give it to you, because I can send you back out so you can get more. We'll send Timmy to Iceland. We barely breathe in this damn shelter. For the last couple of hours, the situation has been getting noticeably worse. There might be something wrong with the ventilation system, maybe it's stuck, and that's the case. If that's the case, we need to go into looking... We need to look into fixing it right now. Day 51. So I'm already doing like 4 times better than the last time, so... The obvious thing to do when a vent is blocked is to check what's blocking it. However, when you shine your flashlight on a hive of mutated insects, things usually go from bad to worse. The angry hive is gone, but the insects did some biting before they fled. Ted seems to be losing it, and he's not thirsty anymore. There's no food left. Mary Jane is still tired. Let's give her some time to recover. Timmy has never been a fan of soup, but soup is all he talks about now. He must be hungry. We're sending Timmy out into the wasteland. Maybe he'll come back with food. Or help. Timmy went out into the wasteland. We don't know what we'll do if he doesn't come back. We're no doctors, but we should help Dolores. Her wounds are pretty bad. She's been putting on a brave face, but she must be starving. There isn't enough food to go around. Ted is losing it. Mary Jane isn't looking good. She has been for a while. We'll give you all some water, but that's all we got. Our supplies are scarce and our morale is low. You can almost smell the desperation of the shelter. We're pretty sure there's a small group of survivors nearby, mostly old folks from the retirement home. It shouldn't be too hard to borrow some of their supplies. They're old anyway, and we need them more, right? Sure, go ahead. Steal from old people. That's fine. Day 53. Oh, yes! 4 more cans of soup! We are now richer in some supplies, but for some reason we don't feel very good about it. Let's just never mention this whole thing again. Everybody needs to eat. We got a visit today from a person with a physical mutation. He managed to grow several extra fully operational hands. He shared the story of his group with us, people with other deformities, who, despite the circumstances, remained friendly and struggled to gather supplies. Wherever they go, people just shoo them away in fear of getting sick. He promises that if we gift him some supplies, his group will help us get rid of bandits next time they bother us. I'm gonna give them some water, sure. Day 54. Whether it was pity or just fear of bandits, we're not sure, but in the end we agreed to his terms. We will be calmer knowing that someone else is looking out for us, especially someone with so many arms. Dolores has not eaten for a while. We should attend to Dolores' injuries. Ted is hungry. Mary Jane is hungry. So everybody's hungry. Bandits are at the door, promising us the worst fate we can imagine if we don't let them in. It's time to make a stand or surrender. We've taken a stand and shown these bandits who's in charge here. We're hoping they won't come back with more friends some other time. Our trusty old rifle helped us fight, but now it's just a piece of junk. This is not good. We should attend to Dolores' injuries, but she's no longer hungry. Ted seems to be losing it. Ted is no longer hungry. Everybody's good. When we heard a knock at the door this morning, we held our breath in fear, but we soon heard children's voices coming from outside. We decided to open it up. It turned out that the voices belonged to a pair of Girl Scouts. They used to sell cookies, but they have branched out, and now they're offering items to smart girls. I wish we had the chessboard, because we could do with that first aid kit. I don't think so. I like the axe. We can use the axe for protection. Although the girls are very brave to walk around the wasteland like that, sadly they didn't have anything of interest to us, so we declined their offer. They wished us a nice day and left. Ted is losing it, needs something to drink and hungry. Dolores needs water. Dolores, there's nothing I can do about your injuries, I'm sorry. We've discussed everything we could and no one is willing to chat anymore. The silence is really disturbing. We should do something before we start talking to ourselves instead. Please don't die, Dolores. We're so close to 60 days. Oh, Ted is gone. There's nothing here. Maybe if we try really hard, we can hear the neighbors in the shelter. Dolores has no colors left on her face. Her injuries need to be fixed ASAP. She's no longer thirsty, but she's really tired. Ted could not resist the madness that was consuming him any longer. It seemed that today, following the advice of his sock puppet, he left the bunker and went to an unknown direction, never to be seen again. We hope Ted, the cool puppet that took him away from us, will have lots of fun together. Mary Jane is no longer hungry. Mary Jane is really tired. We should use some extra supplies. I'm gonna send Mary Jane out because I really don't want Dolores to die. Oh, maybe Timmy brought back a first aid kit. The last thing we expected was a giant explosion. We could hear the debris falling from the sky and hitting the sad remains of our house. The tank must have been booby-trapped or contained volatile explosives. Why did we do it? Why? We were so afraid for Timmy, but he came back from the wasteland and is safe with us now. Despite his rather calm demeanor, Timmy got into a few fights before the apocalypse. His last victory was beating a kid named Ethan with a stick. Ethan's parents were furious and invited us over to discuss Timmy's behavior, but before we could schedule a meeting, the worst went to hell. During our trip, we found their house and we knocked on the door, but nobody answered. We decided to go in and investigate. These people were obsessed with tomato soup. We saw so many cans in the ruined kitchen. Most of them were damaged, and all the tomato goodness had leaked out. But some survived. Behind the remains of their kitchen counter, we found some bottled water. It's not our favorite brand, but it'll have to do. We found their garage empty. They might have gone on vacation before the apocalypse. Maybe they even survived. What's left behind? A few suitcases, though. We didn't think they would mind us borrowing one. Dolores really needs a first aid kit. Using a high-tech setup involving paper cups and yards of string, the agents rang in with our next top-secret mission that will surely land us in the VIP bunker very soon. They want us to go on one successful expedition and write down what we saw in the journal. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? We'll send Dolores out. Maybe she can find a first aid kit while she's out. Please don't die. We're so close. Day 59. Dolores is on her way to the surface and said she'll make it back safe and sound. We graciously agreed to fulfill the request. They thanked us for doing our civic duty and promised to get back with more information soon. Timmy needs to eat. Give him a little bit of water too. Bandits are at the door, promising the worst fate they can imagine if we don't let them in. It's time to stand up or surrender. I hope that our friends come in handy. Day 60. Okay, he's still alive, but the axe is gone. We were able to fight off the bandits this time, but with no guarantee they won't come back. We need to be prepared at all times. Our axe broke during the fight. We should get a new one as quickly as we can. Timmy is hungry and needs an extra blanket. He's falling asleep in his chair. Today we were visited by a strange-looking little man who introduced himself as a trader. He insisted his prices were so low that it's practically like cutting his own throat. The least we could do is take a look at his offer, although for some reason we don't really trust him. We don't have anything we can give him anyway, so... Day 61. Despite his desperate attempts to sell us all kinds of things, useless and not, we turned down the man's offer. It's probably for the better. He did look quite untrustworthy. Okay, he's not hungry anymore, but he's still sick. Oh dear, we just remembered we planned on taking a trip south in 2 months. If it's still there, we're going, right? We're pretty sure that they don't bomb warm places. I don't think it works that way. Day 62. Who's home? Dolores is back. Let's just leave all those questions be for now. The recon mission was risky business. We had to visit neighborhoods that were dicey even in the best of times. The area was full of mutated cats and dogs fighting each other in gangs, all of them armed to the teeth. We barely made it out of there alive, but the agents seemed to appreciate our efforts. Let's hope these missions are actually worth it. Our bucket is just about due for an upgrade, and we're expecting the government shelter to have an excellent bathroom, maybe even a hot tub. Dolores is gonna end up dying from injuries. Right? Timmy's feeling better. Send anybody out. Some door-to-door salesman found his way to our shelter. We remember him from before, the apocalypse. He came over with a bunch of leaflets and tried to convince us to join something called Astro Citizen, but we refused. Now he just wants supplies and he says he can reveal some state secrets to us in return. Give him a canister. I died. Again. We are generous, so we shared our supplies with him. He tried to make us believe that America is a working space station in orbit, or rather had since, according to that guy. It was exploded when the bomb was dropped. How convenient, a working space station. What a joker. He was probably so hungry and dehydrated his brain started playing tricks on him. Timmy still hasn't rested. Timmy doesn't need much. But he should drink. Dolores suffered with her injuries for far too long. When the infection spread, there is nothing we can do. We didn't make it. These are our final words, and our advice to anyone who reads this obscured writing. We survived for 63 days. All of us are safe. Oh god. "63 days, though. I mean, that's a lot. Considerably better than the first time, so I think that's where I'm going to end off this video for today. If you guys want to see me continue to play 60 seconds, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys later. Love you. Bye.